Hi, I'm April. Welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, I'm reading posts from r/getEmployed, giving any career or job advice to people who are looking, and you guys can watch me do it live.
Let's get back to work.
Get back to work.
America is back to work.
So let's go to the first post. What if after completing a Wipro online boarding, I change my mind and decide to not appear on joining date? Will that mean I'm blacklisted and absconded from Wipro? I'm not sure about absconded, but it does mean that you're burning that bridge with that hiring manager. So you can't go back and say, I changed my mind twice. If you apply, all the history from that will be in the application process. So maybe if 10 years down the line, maybe as soon as 5, there is another role that's a better fit, they'll forgive and forget, but don't do this. And that's what I'm going to say. Don't do this. It's not worth it. Just let the manager know you changed your mind. It's better to let them know and keep the good contact than run away because you changed your mind and you don't want to have to deal with the consequences of that. It's so true in the world. You never know who you're going to run into, so don't burn a bridge unless you need to. This next post by Just Ducking Around, posted 24 minutes ago. Accepted my job offer, but it's been almost completely silent on their part since. They acknowledged that I accepted it and seemed really excited about it, but it's been almost a week and haven't really heard a thing from them since. It's a pro sports organization with their season coming up quickly. My tentative start date is March 2nd, and I would really like to know if everything is sealed up to go so that I can go put my 2 weeks in at my current job. The timing is starting to get tight for that. Basically, I am just curious what is going on their end after they receive an accepted offer. Should I be concerned at all? Thanks for any answer or insight. No one's responded to this because it's more of an HR question, but when you sign an offer with a new company, they are supposed to help you plan the exiting process from your current job. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to follow up with you, but it is normal for you to talk with the recruiter at a potential employer about the 2-week notice you have to give your company. I know as a recruiter, when I want to make sure a candidate is closed down on a job, I follow them through the 2 weeks notice, both preparing and dealing with the aftermath to make sure that they're interested in the job. It's a big sports company, so I'm not surprised to hear that they are not following up. They got a lot of stuff to deal with, and unless she's working with a third-party recruiter, helping her give 2 weeks notice at her job is not a priority of HR. They aren't as concerned about helping you transition out of the job. That's not because they aren't interested. Ask them if everything is straight on their end and if you're still set to start March 2nd. Unexpected second interview. Now this person is kind of a talker, so I'm going to speed through this first paragraph. I applied for a position in my field last week. I work in a very niche field and I am eminently qualified for the job. A manager called me on Friday, a few days after I applied, and I had an interview. At the conclusion of the interview, one of the managers told me I'd hear from them either way by the end of the week, or early next week at the latest. We've ended the call there. Not 2 hours later, though, one of the managers I'd spoken with called me and asked me to come into the office next Thursday for another interview. Is this a good sign, as I'm thinking it may be, that they simply want to meet me in person before pulling the trigger and that I'll be extended an offer that day? If they schedule the next interview with you immediately after the call, possibly even the next day, any proactive movement on your application process is a great sign. If you're called in for a final interview only 2 hours after the first interview, that's a great sign. I would go into the next interview ready to talk about salary and the employment contract in general. Be ready to be asked if you could sign an employment contract that day. Good luck. Smiley face. Linda Bell, 97. Need a job offer. My dream is to live somewhere like Colorado, Utah, Montana, Minnesota, Washington, basically anywhere that snows a lot. I currently live in Florida and hate it. What I'm saying, can anyone give me advice on where I could find a job that would give me time to transfer to them, or something along those lines? My boyfriend and I are struggling to get out of Florida. We need just something to get us started, but I don't know where to start. Any advice would help. This is a generational thing. It seems like a lot of people want to move to a new state, especially these big differences between warm and cold. The reason people didn't move as much for their jobs in the past is because companies didn't hire employees that lived far away. It's hard to evaluate the person as a good fit, and there's less likely to be people you know in contact, so they can't double check with their current contacts on your reputation. That's called a backdoor reference, when an employee at a company asks someone that they know in common with a candidate about the candidate's reputation or performance at work. It's hard to give this person advice because I don't have a resume. I don't know what their career path and trajectory is like. A lot of people want to move to Colorado, Utah, and Montana right now. The cost of living has gone up. There are a lot of remote workers here now who bring jobs with them, aka not taking a job off the market. So for a company to take a chance to hire a Floridian, they need a good reason. Maybe your work experience applies very well to that job in a niche industry. Maybe you have a contact in the company, has lots of jobs, but the rent is also pretty high. If you have time to wait, interview with nationally based companies that have offices in those states you want to live. It could take over a year. If you want to get out of Florida ASAP, save up the money to live in one of those states after moving costs for 6 months. Move, get jobs there, change residency. It's really hard to get a job from states away. And that's the truth unless you are a software engineer who has worked remote for several years, and it is a bigger commitment. This is why people don't move so much for their jobs, especially in the past. And this is why people who have jobs in the tech industry like to go nomad, because they can do it from anywhere, whereas most of society stays put in one area for quite some time. From BTS Bias, what part-time job to do as a graduate whilst searching for work to fill in unemployment gap? Currently a graduate searching for a permanent job. What part-time jobs should I do whilst searching for work to fill in an unemployment gap? As a new graduate, you don't need to worry as much about that employment gap. To be honest, even a year after graduation, I've seen people get jobs at great companies, corporate companies, because I've seen people get jobs at corporate companies and great companies. It's after graduation is one of the few times that employment gaps don't really matter. So I would say the employment gap between graduation and the first job isn't so concerning for companies. So if you are getting work to fill up space on your resume, I'd consider unpaid internships or part-time work that are in your industry. If you need a job for money, get a service job that can have night hours, so you have plenty of time to interview. And last post by Fancy Variety 5552, struggling to get work in a small poor town in the UK. Hello. So right now I have 11 months of experience and I work 37.5 hours a week. I don't have enough funds to move to the nearest city. I would have to get the bus or the train for work, and I would not be able to afford that each day. Most of the work is care work, low paid employment. Most of the shops have closed down. There isn't a lot to do. I mostly occupy my time watching and eating bad food. I cannot afford a car or car driving lessons. I also live in a state housing there is a lot of drug addiction and poverty. The local Burger King shut down and I'm a digital marketing assistant. I don't work remotely, I walk to work. That sounds hard. I'm gonna say that up front. I'm sorry you find yourself in that situation. Digital marketing assistant jobs are often remote. That's true. So you can probably get a remote job in the future. You would need more experience, at least 1.5 years in your current role. Consider doing unpaid online marketing work to build a resume, so you can apply to a corporate remote job. The steps to change your situation now are gonna be baby steps, but if you can stick it out where you are just a little bit longer, it could help your chances a lot. And to be honest, people young in their career are the most likely to leave a job within 11 months. So the longer you stay at your first job, the more credible it is on your resume. And that was my video. What do you think? Do you like me reading on these comment posts, seeing the career advice that I would get? Is this useful at all? Please let me know in the comments. Like this video so other people can find it. And if you're looking for a job, hoping to not miss out on new opportunities, I have videos on everything from resume reviews to the top reasons to quit your job. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.